Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. This is a channel where I talk about my observations and opinions on world events, politics, and pretty much anything else I want to talk about. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy life for coming to this channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope that you'll like what I have to say and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'd really like to know what you're thinking. So lots of things are happening around the world. Just start with the Persian Gulf. President Trump announced even more economic warfare with Iran. And quite honestly, I don't see Iran surviving this. They pretty much have been shut off around the world. They can't even ship oil out right now, and they're losing millions and millions of dollars every single day. They can't pay their army. They can't pay even the citizens who are now beginning to protest in the middle of the day because they can't get their pensions that they worked for all their lives. So I think it was the president of Iran came out over the weekend basically saying, you know, this war needs to end. We can't feed our people. So we might see a capitulation soon. I hope so. I'm really tired and kind of over this war. Just hope the Iranian people survive in the sense that the people take over the government, they throw out the regime, and they live free as Persians again. So here in the United States, again, lots of things are happening. The WNBA, which is supposed to be Women's National Basketball Association. The only reason why people are paying attention to the WNBA now is because of two women. And they are women. We have Sophie Cunningham, and then we have Caitlin Clark. And the only reason why we're paying attention to them is that these two women can play ball. And especially Caitlin Clark. And wherever she goes, the sports arenas are selling out. The crowds, they're there. When she's not there, there's no crowd. So Sophie Cunningham, she made a statement, I believe it was last week, just basically saying that women, need to be protected not only in women's sports, but in the locker rooms where men are being allowed to go in, men pretending to be women, and they're allowed to go into the locker rooms and play on the sports field. And she has been attacked, not only by the transgenders and the LBGQ ABC mafia, but by players in the league. Now, players were already going after Caitlin Clark, and it's out of pure jealousy. She's an amazing player who happens to be white and straight. The WNBA primarily is not white and not straight. But again, the fans are going to see Caitlin Clark play. They're now going to see Sophie Cunningham. And over the last several weeks, after Sophie made that comment about, supporting girls and women in sports, the WNBA has been going out of their way to silence her fans. I already showed you a video a couple weeks ago where two young girls were in the audience, and they had signs up that said XXXY and thanking Sophie for her support. And they were verbally attacked by one of the owners of the other team. And then the girls were kicked out of the sports arena. Well, that hit the news, and that part owner was suspended from going to any of the games for 2 weeks. Well, now we're getting reports, and you'll see in some of the videos, that other women are showing up with signs supporting women, thanking Sophie Cunningham for her comments. And they are being kicked out of sports arenas. The New York team the other night actually had up on their giant, billboard, their display above center court, supporting the transgens. You have coaches wearing shirts supporting transgender players. And yes, sorry, it's hot. There are transgender players in the league, most notably Brittany Griner. Now, she keeps claiming that she's a woman, but there's been enough evidence. But I finally found a photo today. This is the woman who went to Russia carrying some type of marijuana product, and she was caught and sentenced to a Russian prison where she lived in the men's prison, not the women's prison, but the men's. And I discovered this image today of when she was released from the Russian prison, and she has a full beard because she's a he. She's an it. There's also a video out there where Brittany was playing in the pool, shooting a basketball into a small hoop with no shirt on. And she's got a man's body. Not even pretend women, but a man's body. And Brittany just got separated and is divorcing her lesbian wife. At least we have to assume she's a lesbian because she apparently married a transgender or a person who claimed that they were a female. So the WNBA is in panic mode. They even had a special meeting last week to basically do a study on what is a woman. You know, what should they do because of all the backlash against their league? What is a woman? They had to bring in specialists and try to figure it out, and they couldn't figure it out. But now an attorney has sent a letter to the WNBA basically saying that you're denying these women, the audience, the fans that are going in and being kicked out because they're wearing support shirts for Sophie Cunningham. And the letter basically says you're denying these people of their First Amendment rights, freedom of speech. You're taking their money, you're allowing them into the sports arenas, but then when you see the shirts, you're either giving them shirts to cover up theirs or kicking them out or both. And you'll see it in the video where a mother and daughter paid $1,000 each for their seats, were wearing the shirts for most of the game, and then suddenly they were given shirts and kicked out.
I did notice during the game on the Jumbotron, they put up a woman wearing a shirt that said protect trans rights or something.
She's the one who told on because she was made to zip up her jacket.
So she also had to zip up her jacket?
But I think that's,
that's bullshit.
But they put her shirt on the Jumbotron.
I know.
It's almost like the message was made and they said now zip it up to make it seem like they're consistent.
Yeah.
But they never were.
Yeah.
No, never are.
And why did you spend so much on tickets? Why was it important for you to be here today?
To support Sophie Cunningham and to support women and women's sports because it's just common sense.
And what's the relation here?
That's my daughter.
And are you an athlete?
I used to be until I had a bunch of knee surgery.
What sport?
I did all sorts here. I did soccer. I did all of that.
Yes.
And did this issue ever come up? Like, did a biological man ever try to play against?
No, we're from here, so it hasn't happened here
A lot.
But I can't believe that just happened
Yeah, that's
in
shocking.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Right? In Atlanta, Georgia, of all places. Georgia. Oh, that's where that all stuff guy is from. Anyway, the WNBA is now admitting that security was wrong, that security should not have asked the mother and daughter to cover up their XX and XY athletic shirts. You know, I have a feeling this woman who's running the WNBA, she used to run Deloitte & Touche, the accounting firm. And let me just say, like, running a bunch of accountants is probably vastly different than running a bunch of female basketball players, some of whom are like superstars, like Caitlin Clark. This lady doesn't know what to make of Caitlin Clark or Sophie Cunningham. They're like such headaches for her, right? Because they're stars. And you don't really have stars in an accounting firm. So she doesn't know what's hit her. And now she's like, oh, and now everybody's worked up about trans athletes. Well, you better believe they are because like this is not fair, right? You cannot have men playing ball against women. I mean, please. So anyway, the Atlanta Dream put this one out on X. The Atlanta Dream believes in creating a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. Unfortunately, at last night's game, WNBA security took actions that fell short of that standard, and at no point was Dream personnel involved in the decisions. Oh, I see this. This is like, not our fault. Not our fault. No, we had nothing to do with it. WNBA wasn't involved in this. So don't blame us. It shouldn't have happened. Don't blame us. Boy, are they in over their heads. The league not involved in the decisions made by WNBA security. The league issued this statement earlier today. The WNBA is aware of interactions at last night's game in Atlanta in which fans were asked by league security to cover their shirts. This should not have happened. You bet it shouldn't have happened. Okay, I think, they need to start looking for a new CEO of this league. The sooner, the better. This woman is so, pun intended, out of her league, okay? Out of her league. She doesn't know how to manage any of this. I mean, she's got stars like Sophie out there who's just saying some normal stuff. Here she is just telling ESPN and everything implodes over this one. Sophie defending women, saying to ESPN, I got a lot of negative feedback about me hating trans. And I'm like, I never once said that. I think that I am here to extend love, but I also think that with love is truth, being honest. And I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in a sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men.
It just isn't going to end, because I'll tell you what, you're going to see a video. We've lost our way here in America. We have all these crazy liberal women out there screaming, yelling, attacking right-wing men. Women think they can get away with it. But then we got all these women that are just tattoo freaks, and I'll show you a quick clip of that. I wouldn't touch these women with a 20-foot pole.
I like to be imperfect, and I think the imperfect
automated email. So and for the love of everything holy.
You may be asking.
It's literally out of control. Now, let's talk about Hassan Park. Oh, let's go back a little bit. So this weekend, we have some men that used to play in the NBA. And they've basically, in protests and supporting Sophie Cunningham, have come out and said that they identify as women. And they're going to put themselves up for the draft for the WNBA. And one of them is a guy named Nez Katner, who played in the NBA. I think they said something like he averaged 18 points a game and 14 rebounds. And he's tall. I mean, he's huge. Well, he went to a game and he was wearing a shirt that basically said a woman, and it's a noun. And it was basically saying women are supposed to be women. Well, he's sitting on the floor of the game, and it was Indiana versus Chicago. And one of the Chicago players, she finally scored a basket, but she traveled. And Caitlin Clark was telling the referee she traveled. She's doing this in the video. And, of course, the referees, they ignore everything. They ignore the attacks on Caitlin and Sophie. They ignore the penalties. They ignore the traveling and the palming the ball and all the rules that you're supposed to enforce. And, of course, the referee ignored it. But Mr. Katner, he's sitting there on the floor, and he's going, she's traveling. And, of course, he's loud. What does this woman, Natasha Cloud, do? She tries to roll up on him, screaming and yelling and going towards him. He stood up. They exchanged words, and security removed him from the sports arena. He didn't do anything wrong. He was a fan expressing his opinion. She went after him. He didn't go after her. What the hell she thinks she's going to do? He only stands about 1.5 feet over her.
I think sometimes we think about heat checks, and I bet that was a shot she would just take and rid him anyway. Cloud finding an angle. And just like that, a 6-point basketball game. Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud. And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena. After Natasha Cloud got that bucket, she wanted her voice heard. We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Enes Kanter in the building today. And he has voiced how he's felt about the situation. Natasha Cloud voicing her opinion as well. Kanter was just escorted out.
The mainstream sports media world just suffered a catastrophic collapse as the corporate narrative completely disintegrated on live television. For months, the establishment networks desperately tried to protect league executives and sweep growing locker room tensions right under the rug. Now the entire structure is coming unglued because
are showing up for Cunningham at games across the country with another rally planned tonight in Texas. With that, let's bring in.
He threw his massive broadcasting weight behind Sophie Cunningham to deliver the most savage reality check this league has ever faced. Network executives were left utterly paralyzed as the shockwaves echoed across the entire sports ecosystem.
Yeah, you got.
But, you know, we've even got sports teams in college and high school and athletes that are refusing to compete against these transgender men. Men who couldn't make it in the man's world of sports, so they decided, oh, I'm going to identify as a woman so I can compete and get accolades, get trophies and titles. And we've seen it, it's happening everywhere, from the Olympics to pro sports, to college sports, to high school sports. And these women are now refusing to compete against them. Bravo for those women.
This transgender athlete is doing quite well at women's track in California. An unhappy parent was caught on video heckling during the meet.
That's a boy! That's a boy! That's a man!
Despite Donald Trump's executive order, this nonsense continues. Here you see a transgender softball pitcher who has been dominant in Minnesota. Despite that, it seems like the rebellion only grows. These ladies are one by one refusing to participate in shot put because of a transgender athlete on the opposing team.
Abigail Wilson!
Gabby!
Females must be protected in our division. This is unfair. I refuse to play.
That is another female athlete standing her ground, refusing to compete against a transgender competitor.
We see you take a knee, and then the official comes over. What did you say to the official at that point?
Initially, I told them that I was refusing defense because this person is a man and I am a woman, and this is a women's tournament, and I refuse defense on principle.
We don't always get dramatic video as a result. Third college volleyball team refuses to compete against transgender opponent, forfeiting game. The truth is, this is the most effective way for women to fight back. And more big-name sports figures are speaking out. Here's Charles Barkley.
Men should not play sports against women. If anybody think that, I think they're stupid. I just think it's wrong, period.
So let's go to Hassan Piker like I was going to do earlier. Now, there's video out there that when Charlie Kirk was killed, assassinated, murdered, Hassan seemed to be deeply affected by it. He knew Charlie. He debated with Charlie. And he seemed genuinely upset when he found out that Charlie had been shot and killed. Don't believe it. You're going to see a video from this weekend where he was mocking Charlie and doing a song in front of his leftist crowds and having a good time that Charlie was shot and killed. This is a guy who says the U.S. deserved 9/11. And if you look at his studio behind him, on that side, he's got the newspaper ad in a frame about the Twin Towers being hit. You look on that side, he's got the Cuban and Venezuelan communist flags. And this guy is a self-professed communist. He's a rich communist. He bought a huge mansion in Malibu where he's the only one that lives there. And he defends his purchase as in he deserved it. He made the money, capitalism, but he deserves it. This is also a guy who's very anti-Israeli, anti-Semitic. He has said things that his favorite flag is the Hamas terrorist flag. He is a member of the Communist Party, DSA, and he's supporting all these candidates that are running for DSA. And again, he's a multimillionaire. From Egypt, sorry about that. From Egypt, brought to America. Well, actually, I'm sorry. He was born in New Jersey and then went to Turkey for his education. Then come to find out his brother worked for the U.S. government, had a top secret clearance, was working in some high-end stuff, and maybe even in the White House. And his brother goes on Hassan's videos. Maybe we need to have a security clearance pulled. Just amazes me.
He stood unshaken, a voice in the storm, a man of conviction, a heart reborn. He spoke the truth when the world was high. He lived for Jesus, unafraid to die.
We continue today our exploration of the radical socialist streamer Hassan Piker. Now, he's Abdul El Sayed's best friend, and he campaigns for him all the time. And African Americans out there, within the sound of my voice, need to listen up, and you must listen carefully. This is who socialists like Abdul El Sayed choose to keep for company. Just listen to this. Hassan Piker in Cut 8.
I don't give a what black people care about. Oh, black people care about this, black people care about that. Like, shut the up. That's not how politics works. Oh, well, Hassan, how dare you? Like it or not, black people care about this issue. It's like, it's such a stupid stance. Any other black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this chat? Suck my Yes, dude. It's because I'm racist. That's why. It's because I'm racist, dude. Go back to a better time when lynchings were happening. This is what I like as a black man. Are you always doing too much with black people? Leave them alone. I want to go back to lynching. Like, I get it, but relax. Man, shut the up, okay? You got me, okay? You got me because I'm a racist person.
It is possible at the very end of that clip, Hassan Piker was making fun of a person insinuating he was a racist. I've done this before where I'm like, well, you know, I'm a white nationalist now. And to be dead honest, individuals like Wajahat Ali are like, well, you're a self-proclaimed white nationalist. And you're just thinking, are you that stupid or that manipulative? But this is different. That is not what Jennings was doing. And the entire preamble in Piker's spewing of vitriol up until that moment, he's very legitimately saying, you know, oh, black voters can go F themselves. Oh, yeah, F you. Like, I don't care. That's not how politics works. Even if at the very end, he was being facetious. Let's think about some of the things that this man has said that are not in question. He thinks women on October 7th, he thinks that their rape was justified. He thinks America deserved 9/11. And people are like, well, he's apologized for that. Oh, has he? There's a picture of the plane hitting the Twin Towers behind him in his live stream. He has said that we should kill those mother effers, Republicans, and the streets should soak in landlords' capitalist blood. Some of the most repulsive, vitriolic, racist commentary. And now he's upset because he thinks people might have taken this one thing out of context.
Now we have another twisted American, Major Watson of the United States Air Force. You saw a video a couple of weeks ago where he was on the U.S. Capitol steps, and he was saying that, President Trump and J.D. Vance need to be prosecuted and impeached and everything else. And he did this in uniform. And under the UCMJ, he wasn't allowed to do that. Plus, he was arrested because he was not allowed to protest on the Capitol steps. So he was arrested. Now the dumb shit went on CNN. He wasn't in uniform, but he's still active duty. And he talked more trash about the president's agenda and everything else. Well, this time he was arrested by the U.S. military, and now he's in confinement. Major Watson, I think I see your future. It's called Fort Leavenworth. And I hope to God you pay, you traitorous bitch.
Air Force Major Jason Watson was back in the news and actually has been arrested again by the military this time and put in pretrial confinement after he gave this CNN interview on live television, this time without a uniform.
Out front now, Air Force Major Jason Watson. He was arrested last month on the steps of the U.S. Capitol after calling for President Trump and Vice President Vance's impeachment and removal from office over the war in Iran and other issues. And tonight is his first television interview since that arrest.
Okay, he's outside of uniform this time. Oh, that's good. Providing a live television interview about this issue, especially when facing potential UCMJ charges, not the best legal position, best thing to do for his case, but let's see what he says.
And Major Watson, obviously, you have done this after incredible consideration. You've been in the Air Force for 17 years. You're in the Air Force. And you know that by choosing to speak out as you did in uniform, calling for the commander-in-chief's impeachment and removal from office, that carries grave consequences, violates the laws governing the U.S. military.
Okay, pause. He should not answer that question, or should at least answer it with some clarification, because she just inferred that he had knowledge that it was illegal, had knowledge that he was violating the UCMJ, did violate the UCMJ, and did so anyways. So I'm expecting, hopefully, either a denial or some clarification. As a defense attorney, right? If I was representing him, that's how I would say, either don't answer this question, or let's reframe it and let's give it some context.
Military. But you chose to do it, knowing all of that. Tell me why.
Well, I think the most important thing for all of us to keep in mind is what is happening with President Trump is not normal. He has failed us, and not only is he a failure as president, he is flagrantly violating the Constitution, breaking the law.
Look, there's what he's saying, the truth behind that, and then there's the UCMJ and the law. And as a defense attorney, a UCMJ attorney, I would be wringing his neck if I was his attorney right now. Why are we doing this? Well, after this interview, he was later arrested by the military and put in pretrial confinement.
Anyways, so a lot of things are happening in the world. didn't make a video. I wanted to take the day off, and nothing really happened except Iran is still hitting ships in the Persian Gulf. The Houthis are still hitting ships in the Red Sea. And, you know, Saudi Arabia signed a defense pact with Pakistan and Turkey. Did that a couple weeks ago. That if you attack one, you attack the others. Well, the Houthis have been attacking the Saudis. And because of what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea, 43 nations have signed an agreement backing Saudi Arabia against the Houthis. So we're going to see that war expand there. And that, you know, the Houthis are proxies of the Iranians. You know, the Middle East is just exploding. So anyways, folks, I hope you take care of yourselves. Be safe. I'm always telling you, just be aware of your surroundings. Be safe. Take care of yourself, your family, your friends. And just be aware of what's going on around you. Folks, please take care of yourselves. Today is August 24th, Monday. Happy work week. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Take care, and see ya.